What's up, YouTube? Okay, the title says it all. I'm gonna be remembering my dog Lady and sharing some fond memories. Today would be her 11th birthday, but if you saw the video I posted a couple months back in October, she died. Excuse me. So I'm gonna give you the gist of the story. I noticed to see some growth on my dog's leg. We saw some growth. And then my mom figured out too late. We found out too late that was cancer, so I was worried. And for weeks and weeks we've been giving her stuff that would help, and one time I was asleep on the couch and I heard her whimpering, and I saw her pain, and I saw a bulge like right next to her vagina, because I think I think the what's it called, I think the cancer was spreading quickly, so it went from her breast to her leg, like from her chest to her breast to her leg, the growth. And my mom tied it up in a knot, and she chewed the knot thing that my mom tied it off, and then was next to her vagina. So um so a friend of mine came by with a gun, and he brought a towel or a blanket. I we put her in the leash, and then my mom went outside, and my brother and I went back in the house, and then she was trying to look to see where we went, and then the guy had the gun behind his back and then shot her and killed her. And my mom and I buried her. And then I went in the house and started to bawl my eyes out. My mom was in the bathroom and she was crying so hard, and I gave her a hug because that was my favorite dog of all time, and she had been here. I mean, back in 2009 we lost Axel, but he was only here for 28 days. Lady was here for 10 years. This happened. But I do have some fond memories of her that I have on this piece of paper that I wrote down. Yes, this happened a lot. She had so much energy that she would run around the backyard getting so. She had a lot of energy. She would run around the backyard getting, or first, actually, the first day she was really scared here. So, or I'll just say what happened. One time she was sitting on my mom's lap, and she was pretty mellow at first, but then my mom said now she's getting a little bit rowdy. She's sitting on my mom's lap. She was running around the backyard, running around all day, tearing up the backyard, tearing up the grass. My mom and I would sometimes, before she went to sleep, or before we went to sleep, spend time with her in the laundry room, and um, she would just sit around, and we would give her company, and you know, she would jump on my one time she jumped on my bed in 2011, the day before my birthday, woke me up, and on my birthday she woke me up. It was kind of weird. I was just asleep, and then the dog jumps on my bed and wakes me up. I was so excited. And then, um, in 2012, she was sleeping in the garage because my brother and I put a couch in there, or we put a couch in there, and she started jumping up on the couch. Then one time in 2012, this was so cute. I was sitting on a chair outside, right, in the backyard, and then my dog was thirsty, so she looked in her water bowl. It was empty. Excuse me. So she looked in her water bowl and then bit down on it because there was no water in it, and she showed it to me because there was no water in it, so I filled it up, and then she started drinking it. Pretty smart dog, too. She would put when she was only a couple weeks old, she put her paws up on the dinner table to look at her food and everything. Yeah, she'd sit on the couch. She one time jumped up on my couch. Um, One time she would. I was I was out in the living room, and then she had ended up jumping on my bed and everything. When anyone came back, she she would get so excited and start barking and start getting super excited. Yeah, and all that, and she would lick me all the time. Um, I walked her, or one time I went to my sister's house for a week in 2011. When I came back, I went into the back room and she started licking me. And yeah, one time I walked her a lot in 2011. One guy's like, I like his ears. And I said, it's a her. Oh, it's a her? I said, lady. And he said, lady. And lady was sitting there looking at him because one time I was playing music for her and she looked at it like that and her ear flopped backwards. Her left ear flopped backwards. Yeah. Um, I would walk her a lot in 2011 during the summer. Like, because I was out of high school at the time. I was on summer break. Because I had to go back to high school for another year. There were tricks we taught her. It was sit, shake. She would also catch food in her mouth, but before I gave her her food bowl, it was sit, shake, shake, double shake, and then I did that. And then I let her go, and then she looked up at me and make eye contact, and then gave her her food. She would wag her whole body, wag her tail all the time. Excuse me. She would eat bread, eat a lot. She would follow food. She was excited when she saw family and friends. One time, my fiance came here and she put her paws up on her pants and got her dirty. And then the second time, she tried jumping on her because she was so excited. You know, my dog always wanted attention. If she didn't hear much attention, she would try to get our attention. Yeah, she got my fiance's pants dirty. I think she got mine dirty. She would jump on families and friends because she got so excited. She had a lot of energy. She was scared of fireworks. That's normal for dogs. One time when we first heard fireworks, she turned in the direction of the lake to see what made the ruckus. And then I lit off a few bottle rockets and she ran and hid. One time she hid under the gutter. We kept her leashed up for most of it. She had so much energy that I don't know. She had so much energy, she'd run around all day and have so much. In August 2010, when we got her when she was 10 weeks old, she was scared when we first got her. Like, I took her, I petted her, and then, or my mom held her and I petted her, and then I took her, and then my brother petted her, and I put her down in the kitchen floor, and then she walked and hid underneath my brother's bed. Excuse me. Then she was my favorite dog. I would eat a lot of food sometimes, and I would feed her my leftovers. And she was a loving dog. And my sister brought over a dog that she was gonna name Kimba, that her ex-husband named Mr. Wentworth. And then Leah was like, "Aww." And then we took her over there, and this dog was like this big, Mr. Wentworth, and Lady was like this big. And then she gets so excited that she wants to go play with him so much. My brother had to hold her by the collar, so she didn't murder him. She wouldn't have technically murdered him, you know, but she was too excited for him. And I taught her how to hug. Like I would put her paws up here, and I would do this, and then she would take her paws back down. Um, I would put her paws on my face and say, and put them up there, and play with her, and then um, I gave her bread. I gave her tortillas. She had cancer in the breast, vagina, and then growth on the leg. Yeah, like I said, she was on my mom's lap and was rowdy sometimes. She hid underneath my brother's bed. One time, my mom couldn't sleep. We kept her in a little box on her first couple days, first couple weeks, and then she went in my mom's bed. She went in my she was in my mom's room and she was breathing so loud that my mom couldn't sleep because she was still scared. And then we put her in the laundry room, and then she was in my brother's bedroom the next day, and she still hid underneath the bed. And then we put her back in the laundry room, little box. Yeah. One time I gave her a bath, and she started to shiver. The first time she was like that. I said she's starting to shiver, and I called my sister and asked if she knew, and I said she started to shiver, and she said she's probably cold. Then one time when I sprayed her with the garden hose, she ran with the table we tied her up in. Yeah, and then one time the only time I could ever really get her, I had a bucket of water, and she would always run away from the water. Like one time I sprayed her with the, I'll get to that later. I had like the car brush, and I dunked it into water and brushed her with it, and she just stood there that time and didn't run away. And she chewed through the leash, I think, that we left her leashed up in, or tied knots around it and escaped from the leash. And when she heard that we came home, she ran up to the front yard. Excuse me. Yeah, and she breathed so hard my mom couldn't sleep, like I said. One time, she would also pull the dog pillow out of her house, and then my mom hammered in a nail. She still got it out, but she would pull her dog pillow out into the sun to lay out in the sun, or she would just sleep out in the sun instead, just do it on the pillow. One time when it was raining outside, she pulled her dog pillow out of the house into the woods. That's how smart she was. She would even sleep on the bench, and then one time she pulled on the bench and broke it when it was leashed up. Axel was a little bit different than that, and she also dug in my brother's trash can. She ran away from Dora, which is my adopted sister's dog. She um they picked her up, and then Dora wanted to play with her, and then she ran away from Dora, and then a couple weeks later her and Dora started playing together, and they were having so much fun together. You know, one time, let me see what else I have here. Yeah, she broke the bench, like I said, her ear flopped backwards when I played music. One time, I work at McDonald's currently right now, but my last day is going to be on Saturday because I've decided to switch over a little bit and try something new. I brought her. I asked my former manager if I could give her some fries, or if I could get some fries, and then she gave them to me for free. And I took a large box of fries and I dumped them in my dog's food bowl, and she chowed down on them. One time I gave her. I have it on here because I've realized that I have said stuff before on here that, you know, yeah. Um, well, yeah, I dumped the one time I got my wisdom teeth pulled out in 2011, and I was sharing macaroni and cheese. I was having a lot of macaroni and cheese, and the first one I made my mom didn't really like, but I put heavy cream in there, and that one they actually liked. My mom and brother. My mom tried it, and I told my brother if he didn't have any, I was just gonna give it away to the lady because it was too much for me. And then he had a few bites and enjoyed it, and then I gave the rest to my dog, and she's like this. She loves food. Sometimes though, she would swallow mini pizza. She swallowed a mini pizza bagel bite, and I hear this because she hacked it back up, and then I heard because she puked up pizza roll one time. I don't know how she managed to get those back up, but I don't know why she would swallow food whole. You gotta chew food. Get it? And then, um, yeah, she ripped chairs and broke chairs and ate wood. Dogs do eat wood sometimes. One time I saw my dog eating wood. and then she stopped, and she played fetch for a little bit, but then she was more of a sniffy dog. We'll go out and sniff more. I've never seen this part happen before because I heard, excuse me, we were all outside, and then I heard a squeaky noise. Every time my dog opened up her mouth, I heard something squeaky. Because apparently she managed to get the squeaker of a squeaky toy into her throat. I'm like, every time she opened up her mouth, we heard something squeak, and then my brother went and put on gloves and pulled the squeaker out of her throat. But I've never seen that happen to a dog before. Like, it got stuck in the throat, open up the mouth, you hear squeak. Closes the mouth, opens it again, you hear squeak. So my brother pulled the squeaker out and threw it in the trash. And I think my dog needed to relax before she ate because that must have been pretty painful. I walked her a lot in 2011 during the summer because I had no job because the job I volunteered at gave my mom's and my shift away. And then my mom also walked her, and my brother got rid of his two bed mattresses and she jumped on them and sat on them. And then she would bark when we came home and got so excited, you know. She also let's see. She also tipped her food bowl over one time when she only saw dry food in there and just started tipping it over. Because when you feed a dog human food, they start to like that food more than what they're supposed to be eating. My dog also got the hiccups sometimes. I would hear her hiccuping, and I wanted to see what a dog sounded like when they had the hiccups open, so I opened up her mouth to see what it sounded like, but it didn't sound much different. Because I know what it's like for humans, but I'd never seen a dog get the hiccups before. Hers didn't last very long. Excuse me. But one time I had hiccups I couldn't get rid of, and then one time I had hiccups I couldn't get rid of, and one time I found out how to get rid of them. I had to give myself the hiccups. To be honest, I had to give myself the hiccups and then get rid of those hiccups, and then the hiccups completely disappeared. Yeah, she would run underneath the gutter when she heard the fireworks go off. And then in 2012, one time she hid underneath our old canoe. There was an old canoe put in the woods, and then my ex-brother-in-law took it. But she hid underneath that canoe a few times, and she hid underneath it when she heard fireworks. And one time she was watching fireworks from the back door with my brother. And yeah, she got my fiance's pants dirty. She jumped on her. My mom told her she had a heart of gold and a heart as big as the world, because she was a loving dog. True, we had another dog for a little bit, but then Lady got a little jealous when that dog got attention because she wanted more attention than the other one got. And she tried to keep her away from the table and keep her away from us in the backyard. Excuse me. And then we took off the leash of her because we got a fence to put over there so she would be fenced in. And one time she ran underneath the neighbor's fence, but then my mom called her back, and then she came back, and then there was a tire one time I wanted to take home, and my mom said no because I found it on the road. Then I never saw it again. Then I found it on the road again, and then my mom put it there so Lady couldn't escape like that again. One time she got out of the leash when I was walking her, went over to play with this other dog. Then I called her back, and then she came back to me, and then I called her back again, and then she came back again, and I had to pull her by the tail and put the dog leash back on her, and then dog leash and collar back on, and then take her back home. And I told my mom, and she was a little worried. And I think my mom thinks what may have caused her cancer is us feeding her canned food which isn't good for dogs. One time I accidentally forgot to feed her for a week, so my mom could see her hips, and then I started feeding her. Then one time I fed her 2 cans and 4 scoops of dry food, and she ate all that. Sometimes she would puke up water that she drank, and my mom thought it might have been dog fur from the water that may have made her throw up. That must have tickled her throat. But she also did puke if she drank a little too much, or if she drank it too fast. Because she was really a fast drinker. She was like. Then when my ex brother-in-law lived here with my sister, his dog drank water. One of his old dogs went or something like that. He made a sound similar to that. And I think that's all I have on here. I'm gonna try to see if I forgot anything. Yeah, she ate bread, and one time I gave her pizza crust that she ate. You know. Yeah, she managed to not her way out of a leash, because dogs are not dumb, and especially not this one. Bites on a water bowl when it's empty, shows it to the owner, he fills it up, she drinks out of it. She gets thirsty, yeah. She pulls her dog pillow out into the sun to lay out in the sun, or just walks away from the dog pillow, leaves the dog pillow inside, sleeps out in the sun, or just pulls out her dog pillow and goes into the woods when it's raining and sleeps out in the woods instead. Mm. Oh, that's all I have to say. Oh yeah, she did play with one of my brother-in-law's old dogs, get kind of playful to her, but then he snapped at her and made her squeal. But that dog, the dog he had used to whine all the time, and he used to live here for a little bit in the garage where I put my dog. Hiccups. Think I got it all. Yeah, one time she played with another dog that was on the road, and the dog scratched her up, and his owner went, "Hey, hey!" And one time I was holding the lady by the leash, and I was like, "Hi" to him, and he said, "Hi." And then that dog started growling and trying to get the lady, and the lady was looking at it. And then one time, two dogs came up and went when they saw her, and then they started touching noses. One time this actually happened. That dog who scratched that lady and made her squeal while I was walking her. And I said hi to him, and he was growling back. I met that guy when I was walking home from a gas station I lived nearby. Because I was on my way home from work, or no, from high school. And then I talked to my mom about a guy I'd met, and she said she knew him back from when we had Axel, who's a dog we had a year before we got Lady. He died in November, and then we got Lady 9 months later. He died November 2nd, 2009, and then we got her in August 2009. Yeah, so it was 9 months. Well, that's all I have to say for this video. And to be honest, dogs are not just animals. They're like family. And when you had one for as long as I did, you'll know. Have a good day. Peace. And to be honest, I love that dog to death. My whole family loves her. Peace.